Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Every match, every goal, and all the big moments across TV, radio, and digital. So whether you're a diehard fan or simply love the beautiful game, stay tuned. The EPL is here, and the excitement starts now. Boys and girls at Radio Maisha and Berur FM will be bringing you all the match documentary live, all the match action, every goal, every controversy, every thumping moment of the EPL that comes to you this season as from tomorrow. So you want to stay tuned for that. You don't have to look anywhere else, right here at the Standard Group. Yes?
Yes, because the boys on TV as well, Robinson Okenye, Hassan Juma, and the team there will be bringing you that as well on television. So be sure to keep it standard
Kabisa.
as we continue to push EPL.
All right, so we're getting into a conversation this hour about defections and realignments and looking at what this all means. And this is all happening in an ecosystem that's a little bit volatile at the moment, where folks are asking questions about whether an election will be free, whether it'll be fair, whether it'll be satisfactory. But beyond that, the elements that you're putting in that we can see right now with the violence and all of that has to be brought into consideration. The two gentlemen who will join us, one of them is already here. Joachim Simiyu is the SG of the Safina Party, and he's also the Senate senatorial aspirant for Nairobi, and joins us in the hot seat this morning. Joachim, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, very well.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Ken Obuya, who is the UDA chairman in Homa Bay, will be with us in a short while, but we'll get into the conversation as he even before he does. We're in Mauritius this week.
Yes.
All right.
So Mauritius is an island country of 1.3 million people. White sandy beaches because...
1.3 million.
Yeah, 1.3 million people.
One county. That's not even a count.
One.
Would be a stronghold. But let's talk about the country. Yeah, but now they're huge in tourism, manufacturing, and it's also considered a financial hub. And now the country is the home to the late dodo bird. Late dodo bird is extinct because in the 1600s it was highly hunted. And today as we speak, you can only see it in pictures. You can only read about it but not feel it, not see it, and not even remember how it sounds. Now, the proverb, when a hyena plans to eat its own children, it accuses them of smelling like goats. How would you interpret it?
People always justify their actions. Giving yourself convenient excuses for the actions you are about to do. That comes when you know that the actions you are about to do are not actually good actions, but you justify them. You tell yourself that because of ABCD, this one should be done.
Well, excuse galore, eh? All right.
Indeed. As we look at alignments and defections, I want to ask first, as we get into this, whether they matter.
It's a big question I've been asking myself, because why defect now? What has been the alarm? I have looked around people defecting from William Ruto, and I'm like, why now? If it's not about their own survival and nothing about how the country is being led, then I think these defections need to be not taken seriously. And I can see some people celebrate when people leave President Ruto. Okay, it's good they're adding on to the numbers of us in the opposition who want to change government, but again, with what motive? So that they do what? They are bringing the numbers so that we achieve what? You see? You cannot be the person who has been pushing all the punitive ways of leadership. Then all of a sudden, 1 year to an election, you suddenly realize it's not working. I heard some member of parliament saying that we don't have a parliament. It's been captured. So he's been captured for how long? Because he's there. And these are the things we've said for the last 4 years, that this parliament is a problem. And then they vehemently oppose that we are actually independent. We've not been captured. But then, just before election, they suddenly realize that, parliament is captured. I think that's taking us for a ride. And I've been looking around and I see people, like the other day, there is a new party that was formed. How is it called?
PPK.
PPK.
No, apparently it's not new, but okay.
Oh yeah,
It
was
party
formed
leader.
in 1996.
It has a new party.
It has a new party leader who apparently realizes that all of a sudden economics is very important, and we need to emancipate ourselves economically. But I look at the person who is telling us these things, and I wonder at what time did he realize that emancipation of economies is very important? Because I'm looking at not the things he's saying, but the things that he's been doing, the pattern. How did we come to know this guy? So I look at him in 2013, where the whole region where he comes from is supporting their own son, apparently to save him from the gallows of the Hague. He was supporting some shiny guy called Peter Kenneth. He comes in 2017. He wins for his first term. There is a court ruling that annuls the election. One of the first statements in Parliament is that President Uhuru should have suspended the Constitution and ruled by decree. So, I look at the person who is saying these things. He comes from Kiharu constituency. Kiharu constituency is the one that gave us Matiba, Kenneth, who fought for these freedoms that now you are saying we suspend the Constitution. You are disregarding the gains we've got all the way. And Matiba fought for these things until he paid a price of his life, the ultimate price, ultimately. This guy comes from a constituency that gave us Julius Kiano, the first medical doctor to ever graduate in this country. He comes from a community and a place that has given us men of repute. But look at how he's doing his own stuff. Now, in his first term, he becomes a hawk, jumping from one helicopter to the other, campaigning for William. Vehemently and ferociously, they get power in 2022. After getting power in 2022, he's the biggest proponent of the finance bill in 2023, where we started having a problem with Ruto. He pushes in the housing levy as the chairman of budget and appropriations. He pushes in the most infamous finance bill of 2024. It backfires, blows up in his face. He flees from William. Suddenly he realizes that the borrowing has been bad. Yet he's been chairman of appropriations committee. He becomes a lecturer and a professor of economics in the media. But when we need him at his workplace, at his workstation to vote, suddenly something is happening in London and we cannot find him in Parliament. This is the same guy, when the impeachment of Gachagua comes, he's so flaky, he's missing in action. The other day when we need him to also stand with us, he does not show up. But today, he suddenly is saying, we need to emancipate ourselves economically, defecting, and now he's part of the opposition. At what time does he realize, and what is wrong with his economy? Because he's been there. Can he tell us and take responsibility for the things that have happened that have led us into this bottomless abyss?
But SG, one would say that when you see a problem or when your eureka moment comes, it's okay for you to start doing the right thing. There's never the wrong time to do the right thing. No,
you need to own that.
But even while at that, then there is the history, there is the audit of how someone has been. Are you saying, therefore, that it is important then that we audit performances of individuals, even while defections are happening and eureka moments have happened?
I think we should listen less to what they are saying and watch their steps. The pattern always emerges. And you can see if what they are saying is actually genuine or not. Because, like, for example, when you say that there has been wanton borrowing and illegal borrowings, and this is a question that was posed to him in Parliament, and he could not answer. You see, he's been in this whole thing with the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah and Kimani Kuria. I think Kimani Ichung'wah is better because he's confident enough to own up his nonsense. He's stuck with Ruto. However bad the situation gets, he's there. But this one, you can never tell where he is. So why do you go to war with a person you are not really sure if he's part of the battalion?
Yeah. Ken Obuya is the UDA chairperson, Homa Bay County, Karibu. And even as we continue with the conversation about defections and realignment, you belong in UDA. We're seeing a lot of defections. People are just leaving. What does that show? What's the problem within UDA? Why everybody is just bolting all of a sudden?
What is so unique about defections from UDA? Nothing unique. This is a season that naturally defections across the political divide happens. Realignments, alignments are normally witnessed from, way back from 1960s, when Jaramogi defected from KANU, formed his political party. So defections have been there, and we are going to witness more defections, not necessarily from UDA, but the people are going to defect equally from other political parties. I'm looking forward to defection of my good SG here to UDA. So there's nothing so unique about defections. So that's standard because people realign focusing on getting elected, maybe out of disappointments, out of change of mood within communities that they target to get elected. So I would say that that is standard. Yeah.
What does it do to the psyche of people when you have people moving? That if I tell you today that I am a believer in something, that's the definition of belief means that you have essentially seeped your psyche, your thought, your action in a particular idea, and that you take that belief and you speak it to people and would assume that you practice it. Is it not a monumental, shouldn't it be monumental if you then decide to shift? And what does then that do to the people who gave you, because a vote is not just a thing on a piece of paper, they gave you
a mandate,
the opportunity with their sovereignty, the sovereignty that they have, they gave it to you based on that belief. So when you arise like a phoenix from the ashes and then you tell us that actually, you know what, I've moved away from this, where you can change your mind, that's allowed. Does it do anything then to that hope or belief that people have put in you if you move?
Interestingly, as a people, as a nation, I think we really need to look into our constitution. What does our constitution say about social multi-party practice? The constitution gives every citizen a right, freedom to associate, freedom to move, freedom to socialize, freedom of speech, and that also gives a leeway for politicians. Interestingly, again, we need to look at what does the Political Parties Act says about the time frame when elective political players are supposed to move from political party X to Y and also to independent. And it's every citizen's, every political player's right, as long as they play within the law. But naturally, it is important that we take serious the elective communities. That when I'm given a mandate as a representative of the people, and in this case, there's one thing that it is important we need to look into as political players. Number one, consistency is a serious currency that in leadership and governance. If you believed in UDA and UDA's manifesto as a contract of 5 years, there is a movement like you mentioned. Why is Mount Kenya majority of political players moving out of UDA to DCP? how I pray that we do an amendment, because I think that was too early. Because what is it? Because the Jubilee administration, the Kenya Kwanza administration, has a contract of 5 years. The membership of the Mount Kenya were still are serving as UDA members, because they also equally have a contract. I only pray that they would be brave enough, political players would be brave enough, like Raila Odinga did in 1994, when he resigned from Ford Kenya and, seeked fresh mandate from the Kibra, the Greater Langata constituents, or on a new political party. I would pray that we get brave men and women in the modern political players who can, seek for fresh mandate of their communities. Other than, you're a member of UDA, elected on UDA, yeah, but you are serving a new outfit, yet contractually and constitutionally you have a contract.
Would it be fair?
Yes.
Would it be fair for one to challenge that when we say that even during the Jubilee administration, Deputy President, now President William Ruto, was Jubilee elected president, but had formed a political party called UDA and was pushing agenda of a different political party at the time? Would it then be right then to say that the bad example that we see today was set by the number one in office
We've had
today?
a precedent.
This is something that has been happening not only with William Ruto. This is something that it is a bad culture with our political players. I pray that when my friend here and myself get elected in the next coming parliament, we need to do an amendment on the political party acts and actually give the constituents, people who elect political players, more powers.
So why are we surprised then if members of the juniors within the party are exhibiting bad behavior, if bad behavior was set from the top?
You see, I think people are just reaping what they sow, because, and my friend has mentioned consistency. During Jubilee administration, I was with Raila Odinga, and we were vehemently opposing William Ruto's moves. That, look, you are jeopardizing the government. You were elected on a joint ticket with this guy. Could you be gracious enough to give him ample time? He finishes his time, we will get time to campaign. But no, he couldn't hear that. He went against every grain, and he got into that position. So I think he's just being fed the meal he prepared. But again, but again, it's something that has to stop. I'm going to be elected senator on Safina Party, and if I fall out with the ideologies, and it gets to a point where I feel like it's no longer the party I envisioned, then it's only important that I altogether leave the party and seek mandate on another party. It's a culture that we need to embrace. But these defections are not geared towards people realizing that the ideologies in their parties are actually for the people. It's self-preservation, and people are realizing that they are in a leaking boat to hell. They therefore have to jump into the sea and look for a rowing boat to safety. But we are seeing them. We are seeing them.
We have had bad practices that are very historical. Blackmail and short-changing MOUs within the political elites. We witnessed in 2003 when what happened between the NAC, the NAC government of late President Kibaki. Such kind of twisting and lack of honesty in formations of coalitions. This is something that we need to look into it. It happened with Kenyatta and Jaramogi. It happened when with the repealing of Section 2A in 1991, when a section of political elite promised Jaramogi that they are going to push his presidential bid. Then came the great Njindo entrance.
But I think that was the strings were pulled from from the outside, because I've looked at that part.
Outside?
Well, I've looked at that section of history.
Yes.
Where before Stanley Matiba goes to London, it was Paul Mwite and another group who went to Jaramogi.
Charles Rubia, Paul Mwite.
Yes.
And yeah.
They told Jaramogi that we are going to support you in this election so that we take Moi home. I understand that Jaramogi was skeptical. He said, you remember how our first marriage ended. It did not end well. But Mwite said, this time round, we are genuine. Before that, Matiba was not ill, but he fell ill before that. Then was taken to London Hospital. There's a group of people who left Kenya, went to London, and told Matiba that from the way we see things, you are very popular in Kenya, you should be the one running. This story has been told by Lin Jiru, the then pressman of Moi, that it was their machination. They looked at the wave against Moi and they decided to come up with a way of splitting the opposition. So how do you split it? By making everyone think that they are popular enough to run. So
they are doing to someone now.
so they choreograph the coming back of Matiba. At the airport, the government had paid people to go and welcome Matiba back home. Our good friend, Martin Shikuku, organizes a rally in Malava. And again, it's government money, paying people in Malava so that Matiba gets an impression that, look, even in Bungoma, in Western Kenya, I'm being supported. And then they are telling, on the other hand, they are telling Jaramogi that, look, you are old. You cannot fail to run today. If you don't run,
that's it for you.
It's the end for you. You must be on the ballot. And remember, at that time, we did not have 50+1. So, Kibaki is also being told, you are the only brains we need here. You should also run. So they all run and they share 60% of the vote. Moi gets 35%, but it is the majority. So it was, I do not think it was betrayal per se. It was the brilliance of the government to split the opposition. But and that is not the same as today. If you play that game today, then you are going to interfere with the chances of a first round win. If everyone runs today, if every one of us runs, then none of us will get 50+1. Then we get a rerun. If that works for the people who are proponents of that game, I wish them good luck. But for the sake of the country, and for a sure win of first round, there has to be unity of purpose. And again, in reference to the first betrayal in 1996, I attribute it to a lack of an agenda beyond the fight against a common enemy. Because now, you look at Kenyatta and the people who are pushing Wazungus to go. I think they were just inclined on sending Muzungu home, the Mau Mau and what have you, that the Muzungu must leave this country and we get our own independent rule. But they did not have an agenda that would bring unity of purpose beyond Muzungu. So they push out Muzungu, they get independence, but everyone has an ideology of leading the country. That is someone who feels like, no, land should be a willing buyer, willing seller. The other person is like, no, we chase the Muzungu so that our people get land. These were discussions that were supposed to be made before Muzungu goes, so that there is a binding agenda, the what next after the elections. But without that, the purpose of unity was not there. So everyone was going their own direction. Even the personal secretary to Kenyatta at independence, he publicly fell out with Kenyatta in 1973 when they were having a harambe, was it in Nyandarua? That was J.M. Kariuki. Because the agenda of how to lead the country was missing. Everyone was presenting their own best idea. And that's what I have kept saying, that even today, us in opposition, we are united by sending Ruto home. There should be an agenda.
Okay.
An agenda that says, okay, now, what next after he's gone? Can we imagine a country in the absence of the person we are fighting against? If we don't do that, then there will be another case of betrayal after elections, because everyone will be doing what they think is best. And these are facts that if we are not careful, they say history doesn't repeat itself, people make the same mistakes. And we do not want to make them. So in my own thinking, even as people defect today, as I said before he came in, look at the pattern of the person defecting. For how long has he been doing that? And to serve what purpose?
Because are we saying that a leopard is not going to change its spots? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that because that's what you're born with. I think there's an African saying, I think that Dennis said to her brought up, even the cub with its fur, the soft fur, underneath that skin, the spots are already there.
Yes.
So the fur will fall off and the spots will be there. But then are we getting people to look critically at these things? Because the realignments and the defections may be exciting to a rapt audience at a point in time. You say, okay, we've got another one on this side. But are we looking beneath and seeing what exactly is happening? And do we need to? Ken?
Yes, please. The most important thing is that I think Kenyans, the citizens, have equally had bad practices, bad cultures. I don't see why, even scholars decide to suspend their conscience in interrogating real situations. You find in the community that I come from, people are professors of law, of political science, and lecturers. People, they would say, hatujasikia vile baba anasema, tunangoja so and so to speak. These are bad cultures that collectively and individually we must correct. Why would, because we vote with emotions. That is the worst thing that happens in Kenya. We vote with emotions. Like you see the way communities are being whipped against one community now. And we've had bad incidences that, like the 207 post-election violence. If you see the mood, the way people whip, political players whip their communities against another community.
So in this case, which community is being whipped against?
You are a Kenyan, you know very well there are political players who are whipping a few communities against. We've seen Rigiji, let me call him. We've seen Rigiji whipping his community of Mount Kenya against President William Ruto. Let me tell you, let me ask you, my brother.
Is that the one you're referring to? Is that the one you're referring to in this moment?
Talking about political players whipping their communities against other communities. Because let me tell you, every dog has a territory.
Okay.
Kila umbwa iko na kwao. Unaweza piga umbwa ikiwa iko sokoni, lakini akifika kwao unaona unakimbiza umbwa, lakini akifika kwa mlango yao it turns and now faces you to defend themselves.
Is that what happened in Homa Bay?
Hold on. I want to tell you this. Number one, we must name and shame people who does not take the stability and the continuity of this nation seriously.
Who are you naming and shaming?
Sorry?
Who are you naming and shaming?
I am naming and shaming one, Rigathi Gachagua.
How about
and
one?
his people. Number one, let me tell you, the presidency. Kenya is an independent sovereign state. The symbol of our sovereignty is the presidency. irrespective how we disagree with the person who holds that office, it is important that as citizens, first we must be patriotic of our sovereignty.
So
we may differ, hold on, we may differ and have differences with the office holders. But as citizens, how do we just, demean and give names to persons that hold these offices? That is what inculcates bad practices in our citizens.
Obuya, but
when our leaders, muta namuka tu asubuhi and gives the people who hold serious political offices that unites us as a nation.
Obuya, sovereignty, according to the constitution, belongs to the people.
Yes, it's
of
what
Kenya.
the people see me
Not
the
the
best.
presidency.
Yeah.
The president
And patriotism
is a
is
symbol
not-
of national unity, and the
Yes.
president enjoys donated power
Yeah.
given
Delegated.
by the people.
Yes.
That means the people are the sovereign. So the
That's
president is not an indicator or any symbol of
I am not-
sovereignty.
and
but then
again-
again,
I am- yes.
as
Yes.
we name and shame,
Yes.
you come from Homa Bay County.
Yes.
Are you concerned about statements that were made in Homa Bay County by Homa Bay Township Member of Parliament, one Opondo Peter Kaluma? And are you equally naming and shaming the individual that belongs to your community as just next door?
As a stakeholder in Homa Bay County and Homa Bay County politics, I want to strongly condemn. Number one, please allow me to register condolences to the families of the deceased, the lady, I heard she's called Uganda, and the officer who died in the accident. I also want to register one of my close family members who happened to be in the team Babu.
It wasn't an accident. I'm sorry. I think we just
was-
need to be very clear. An accident is something that you do not control. This was violence that was meted upon people by others.
Allow me to land.
No, but we need to make that distinction. It wasn't an accident. An accident is beyond your control.
it's-
But you may go on. We just
Yeah,
want you to make
thank
that
you.
clarification.
Thank you.
It wasn't an accident.
Now, that accident and incident that happened that led to the loss of lives, it is regrettable and it is unacceptable. I want to condemn the people who organized goons in Homa Bay County.
Like who? Do you have names?
Hold on. The people who organized goons in Homa Bay County against the Linda Wananchi. As a member of UDA, that is not what we stand for. Personally, when I was in charge, then I was not elected, I was the interim chair for UDA in Homa Bay County. When I was doing membership recruitment in Homa Bay County, it was not an easy engagement. And it took very strong teamwork from my end to engage. And it also took sobriety. The way we packaged our message and conversation was a way beyond. You could not engage us by conflicts. I also want to condemn the Linda Wananchi team. Why do you? It is evident. It is on your TV archives. You can get also on social media prints. One, Honorable Karoli Omondi saying in Sindo that sasa tumemaliza na watu wa Sindo, sasa tuende Homa Bay town, tuende tupigane na hawa watu. You get me? That is, why are you psyching and charging the communities around you towards what? To achieve what? So such kind of bad practices. It is also reported, Orengo, at some point. Let's respect women leaders. How do you, we saw the other day Nuru Okanga, one gentleman called Nuru Okanga, talking about how he wants to lay the governor for Homa Bay. That is very disrespectful. We saw Orengo say unprintable words the first time he came to Homa Bay. I want to condemn the two teams, and I want to tell them, Kenya and Homa Bay is bigger than political parties. It is bigger than political players.
Do what many would say legacy politicians look at Kenya being greater than individuals? Or
No.
do they think Kenya is greater than them?
I think, and the best show that people have so much disregard for what Kenya becomes is what happened in Homa Bay. Because my good friend has mentioned a very important word, organizing of goons against a rival political camp. So that means that, however, it doesn't matter how Linda Mwananchi was going to conduct themselves. Even if they came in robes, lifting Bibles up, the organization was that met violence against them. As we speak today, my good friend, the women rep aspirant for Bungoma County, she's called Agneta Mwangale. She escaped death by a whisker. It is because she's fast on her feet that today she can wake up and post good morning on her socials. Were it not for her brisk feet, she will be lying dead today. Why? Because their vehicle was stopped, the tires were deflated, and the driver of that vehicle has no one leg. It was chopped off by an axe. Now you can imagine the inhumane character of the people who are doing that thing. My other friend, Abi Zuena, escaped death because she showed them a photo that she took with Raila Odinga. She was telling them, I have supported Raila Odinga all my life. I come from Nakuru. I was hated at home because of my support for Baba. I cannot die in Homa Bay, where Baba comes from. So they asked her to produce the photo. She produced the photo, but again, she wasn't let go. Even after showing the photo, they were demanding money. Her driver will never walk on his 2 feet again. Today, Agneta Mwangale, the women rep aspirant from Bungoma, is lying in hospital with panga injuries on her back and her legs.
Same for Lamu women rep.
Yes. So the Lamu woman rep has a very big dent on her head. These people...
Women aspirant.
Yes, women aspirant. So look at what happened. This is because of organization, that people were defending their turf. The analogy he gave first, that you can chase a dog, but when it gets to their door, it turns back. So I wonder which dog was being chased, because we are in a democracy.
Let me ask you, Simio.
Yes.
Personally, I will not support my brother, breaking the law. Whether we belong to this school of thought, same political party, same biological mother. I respect the rule of law, and I love people who respect the rule of law. Human life is unnegotiable. And I want you to tell me, the IBC controls campaigns. Why do you bring? I strongly believe that every political player has a right, and every Kenyan, to go anywhere. What was the real motive of coming to Homa Bay?
What was the motive of going to Kitengela? What was the motive of going to Taita Taveta? What was the motive of going to Mombasa? Why should Homa Bay be any different?
I want my brother here to...
So what is the motive? It means you are telling us that the motive of the Linda Mwananchi going to Homa Bay was to cause violence.
Can we interrogate and also speak?
I am interrogating.
Would that be a possibility?
No.
I am
interrogating.
I think what we need to do here, is to be very careful not to go down the slippery slope of justifying
what happened,
the horror that we saw in Homa Bay.
There
is nothing that will justify that behavior. So when we talk about an intent to go so that violence could be meted upon people, I think we must be very careful, because it gets us to the place where we'll be getting into a stickier state than we already are in. So let us set that foundation before we go in that direction, because people died, people were maimed, people will never get over what happened in Homa Bay. So I'd like to take that argument and toss it out the window.
This has been peddled.
Go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
This has been peddled as categorizing of one community being violent. And that's the narrative that is being pushed, that some people out there are labeling a community as a violent community. If there is any labeling being made, then it is self-labeling, because the violence
was not caused by people from outside. We have even faces of the people who are suspected as goons. This is an area that has the chairman of a party called ODM. This is an area, you represent UDA in that whole county. This is an area that before the rally happened, I saw someone saying that Gachagua has collected goons from Githurai going to Homa Bay. I do not think in any sensible manner you can collect people from a place like Githurai and take them to a far-flung place like Homa Bay to cause violence. Can you go and cause violence in a place where you can't even know the road to escape? What we know, and this must be said very categorically, and I have seen some people tell us that we should ask Iwanga and Kaluma to apologize. We are not asking them to apologize. If they think apology is not important, let them not make it. But what I know about life is that we pay for our actions in full measure when we are on this world.
Yep.
We will pay before. What died when he was just 2 kgs, he was paying for what he did. And there is a story that was given by Gachagua the other day about the former PS, Hezekiah Oyugi, who had been used by Moi to met violence even against his own people. But when he died, there is only one person from government who attended his burial. He was called Chief Inspector Opio. Chief Inspector Opio was the master of torture for Moi at Nyayo Chambers. When he attended the burial of PS Oyugi, he was excommunicated from his job. He was fired because he had served his purpose. I see the same thing happening. What I want to condemn, and I have seen Linda Mwanainchi saying they want to go back to Homa Bay. I would urge them to go back and show those people that what they did is wrong. The goons I'm seeing here, this face called Kasim Abdi, is linked to the governor of Homa Bay. If the governor of Homa Bay wants to...
Can you also talk about the goon linked to Linda Wananchi?
Which one?
The one from the said Olivetti and the team.
Olivetti?
Yeah, can you also mention? You know, we must...
So Olivetti did what?
We must balance.
No. Olivetti did what?
If we are calling out...
No,
Tell me... If we are... But
what did he do? Because we can say what Kasim did.
Most of his team but you never saw him.
No. We can say what Abdi did. What did Olivetti do?
I want us, Simiyu, to be realistic. When we want to be honest, this is a serious
No, can
platform.
we get one victim saying that he was harmed by Olivetti?
We must first accept that what is happening.
Ken, what did he do?
Okay. What did Olivetti do?
Number two, when we condemn this, we must condemn all the players.
So
when we condemn Abdi,
and another question,
whatever Abdi did was wrong.
Excuse me.
We must also
and let me say, when did Olivetti become a goon?
Team did is equally very wrong.
No. Okay. When did Olivetti become a goon?
Gentlemen.
Because he worked for Ruto in 2022.
Okay, this is now me talking, and this is what we're going to do. Ken, you've brought out an allegation about another individual. What did he do? And let's answer that question directly because we don't have time to beat around the bush.
What did?
The gentleman that you bring
and
up,
what did?
What did he do?
What
I'm
did
asking
Abdi
about.
do?
No, I'm asking about the one you have brought up.
Yeah,
What
it
did
seems
he
that
do?
you have something
What I
against
want us to
him.
do.
No.
You know, I came here knowing very well.
I've asked you a question.
Knowing very well
You've brought
that
up,
this platform is very...
I'm going to switch it off again, and I'm going to ask a question. You brought up an individual, and if you're not going to be able to tell us what he did, let's move on to the next question. Aseto?
Let's not talk about Olivetti and everything else, or Kasim. I have a question.
Yes, please.
As we look at what happened in Homa Bay, that has been condemned. The individual, say, Opondo Kaluma belongs to broad-based government. Mm-hmm. One would have hoped that him belonging to broad-based government, which is the party, or rather the formation where the president belongs, and the president being the chair of the National Security Council, some action would have moved.
Yes.
We've not had anything coming from broad-based. We've not had anything coming from the security agencies in the country. Should Kenyans be concerned that this is being allowed to just slide?
That is why I would go back a bit. There's no lesser child. Every child is important. every crime there's no lesser crime. Crimes that involve taking the life of any citizen is a capital offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned earlier that I will not support whether you belong to UDA, whether you belong to Broadbase, whether you belong to Kenya Kwanza. Any player who would come to Homa Bay and take life, whether you are a member of Kenya Kwanza, a member of Broadbase, or a member of Linda Wananchi, this is unacceptable.
All right.
And I want us to strongly condemn all these players. You understand? Every action, heinous action that takes lives of any citizen, we must jointly condemn this.
But
And
why?
I want,
I've asked
My
a
question,
simple
even
question.
before he answers.
Should
Yeah,
Kenyans
just
be
hold on.
concerned
yes,
that security agencies, and why I'm bringing in security
Yes.
is because the president is the chair of the National Security Council.
Perfect.
And we look at statements that were made by an individual from broad-based government. Broad-based has not spoken.
yes.
Why is it taking so long on a matter of national interest and national security? That's my question.
Why was what? Who has taken long? Broadbase.
Security
The leader of
agencies.
Broadbase.
But the DCI, one of the players, Olivetti, surrendered himself. The matter is being under investigation. The DCI had sanctioned the surrender and arrest of one Abdi in Homa Bay. What else do we want? And there are a number of people who even before, there are a number of goons, hold on. There are a number of goons even before the real rally happened. A number of goons were arrested that morning and the previous night. That shows you that the government and the security agencies are at least doing something.
At least.
Okay.
Joachim.
Joachim,
Yeah.
I
So
think
my-
even as you respond to that, another question that one would ask, in the morning of this rally, roads are blocked. Homa Bay County has county commander,
Yes.
has county commissioner, has OCPDs, OCS to different jurisdictions. Why weren't there police to ensure there was law and order? Because they knew the individuals were coming.
There were police.
My dad taught me one thing.
Yeah.
That when you listen to someone, there are things called revealing statements. And a revealing statement that tells us why we did not have enough police to thwart this kind of inhuman behavior is the word organizing. Because in organizing terror, you need to create room for terror to happen. And how do you create room for terror to happen? To make sure that anything that can stop terror is not available. And in this case, it's police. So when I speak against violence, some people might think I'm speaking against the people, in this case, people of Homa Bay. But let me give you a case. There is a very big business person in Oyugis who has a Coca-Cola depot. Go and ask him how much he lost on that day because they broke into his depot, drank his soda for free, and vandalized the shop. The business community in Homa Bay on that day incurred a lot of losses. So when we condemn violence, it's also in their best interest that this violence does not happen for the safety of everyone. And so, as to the reason why we have not had statements from the president and every other person who we expect to have spoken against it, and my brother is saying it's unacceptable, we condemn. You see, it's a government. This is not a civil society organization where you make press conferences to condemn. This is a government. There should be a swift action towards real and perceived perpetrators. When you arrest Abdi, who is the author of this crime? Because Abdi is working on someone's instructions. And we are not going to just let Abdi be the one to pay the price. There is a paying hand because Abdi was working on a paycheck. Who is that person that provided it? When you look at the scale of violence, it was so monumental.
You can't tell me the DCI office didn't know. I am told by even my friend who comes from, and we know him, both of us. I will tell you the name of the show. He was going to Homa Bay on that day in the morning. At 4 a.m., the roads were already barricaded. 4 a.m. in the morning, the day of the rally. And on that day, there was no law enforcement in Homa Bay. It's like government had been suspended.
I am the one who come from Homa Bay. I want to disagree strongly. That is misleading the nation.
So you were in Homa Bay on that day?
Hold on.
No, why are you in Homa Bay?
You don't
on that
know
day?
the constituencies of Homa Bay.
No, I know it.
don't
Who makes you think I don't know?
I cannot tell you about Bungoma and
It's because
Nzoia.
you've not been there, but I know Homa Bay.
Now, hold on. My brother, my sister, the county commissioner of Homa Bay, Bwana Ronald, mobilized security strength beyond Homa Bay. The police officer who died comes from Moroni in Kisumu County. How did he end up? And he was in uniform. They immobilized enough security.
So why were the roads blocked if they did?
Hold on.
But they couldn't make
The
it.
stones on the road.
Hold on. If I can't land my point.
You have about 10 seconds, actually, because time is going.
Yes. Now, I want to encourage the Homa Bay County security team. You did your best by offering security to the Linda Wananchi team. I also want to ask, did Linda Wananchi team head to reach Homa Bay town at night? What was the motive of getting to Homa Bay town at night?
It's their time for anyone to go to home.
There is a time frame for political engagements with the public. It is in the constitution.
It's
Is that
8
time
a.m. and I think obviously there's a lot to then continue to go through. But one thing that's very clear.
But I saw Ruto campaigning in Kiambu at 7 in the evening.
I've also seen Jimmy Wanjigi
Yes.
going to campaign and meeting Rigiji at night.
So
And what is wrong with that?
Ken Oburu,
If that's wrong, then call police.
Joachim Nsibi, they weren't there, unfortunately. It's a conversation that we're having this morning. And clearly, there's a long way to go in some of these things. Thank you, both of you, for being here this morning. Good morning. It's 8 a.m.
The latest news from around. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.